Greetings everyone, and welcome to my review of the Marvel Legends Uncanny X-Men Retro Carded Storm. Now, as you can tell, I've already taken out the figure from the packaging. I couldn't wait. I love Storm. And yeah, let's just get into the figure. I like this packaging. I think it's cool. And here she is, Storm in all her black and gold, late 90s, early noughties glory. This is the exact outfit that I think of when I think of the X-Men, most because I grew up with the Fox universe, and I don't know, there's something about this figure. As I say, I opened it essentially as soon as I was able to, because I love this character. Storm is my favourite X-Men character, and one of my favourite Marvel superheroes in general. I don't hold many characters in such high regard as I do Storm. So, to me, having this figure in my preferred style was really, really important. So, I'm really happy to have got this figure. Obviously, it's one of the older ones. It's part of the Retro Carded series now of the Uncanny X-Men. And, honestly, it's so good. So, first off, let's just get it out of the way. There is a cloth goods cape, I suppose you call it. The two-part cape, which does actually connect at the top. Very nice. It's a little bit of a papery material, which I'm not too fond of. I'd rather it be a bit of a heavier material, but it looks right, and honestly, it's mostly because I've been posing it around that it's kind of crinkled a little bit. It probably could be pretty easily smoothed out with a little bit of heat and something to flatten it, so that's not really a complaint. I don't know. Soft goods, I like when they're done properly. I don't think this is quite done right, but I don't hate it. When it comes to details, the hair is pretty clean. I wish there was more of a wash than there actually is. There is a little bit of one with a bit of grey, but it's not great. It's also very, very back heavy because of that hair, which isn't great. The actual paint work for the face is pretty good. Obviously, it's not photoreal by any means, but I mean, it's not based on an actual person. I don't really see it as needed when it's a, comic character. The actual outfit, really nice, like the X-Men logos there, the little gold highlights everywhere. I will say the plastic mold gold is very different from the paint gold, which is also very different from the fabric gold, which can be a little bit distracting, but it doesn't bug me too much overall. And then the legs are pretty plain, to be quite honest with you. But she does stand pretty easily, even though, I mean, she was stood a second ago and her foot was actually forward, so I'd say they've actually done a pretty good job of balancing her, despite the fact she has a ton of hair, the cape, and very, the typical Marvel Legends female legs, which are kind of scrawny. But overall, a very nice design. Getting into articulation, we have a ball and hinge at the neck, allows for forward, but it's not really allowed because of the hair. And technically there would be back, except for the fact that the hair gets in the way, runs into sculpt immediately. You don't really get too much, but you do actually get some pretty decent side-to-side, some tilt, which I like. It means you can do some more inquisitive looks. Works overall. I don't really mind that you can't look down or up, because most of the time you're just going to be looking forward with her. You're probably going to angle her entirely if you wanted to look down, so I'm fine with that. At the torso, we do have a ball joint, I do believe. Allows for forward. A lot of back, that's ridiculous actually, and then some side to side, some of that hula hooping action if you want it. Nothing at the waist, which is kind of unfortunate. I would like to have a swivel there, even if I'm not going to use it. At the arms, we do have hinge and swivel. I can't rotate fully because of that. You can remove the cape if you did want to. I'm not going to, though, for the sake of this. The shoulder pads do actually move. They are on a peg system or a hinge system. So they're not like a rubbery material. They're a bit softer than main plastic, but they're still a solid material. They're not really going to get that much out of your way. But yeah, arm goes up past 90. You have single elbow goes, once again, past 90. Pretty good. And then at the wrist, you have side to side, or depending on how you rotate it to be fair, because I mostly have it palm facing up, which would be up and down hinge. But yeah, you can rotate that around. It's got a hinge. It's what you want. It's all you'd really need for these sorts of hands. Then at the waist, well, I say nothing at the waist, but at the legs, we've got out about 45. Not great, but not terrible, to be fair. Then swivel at the thigh. We've got double knee, goes most of the way past 90. And then at the feet, of course, we have forward-facing pin for rocker and back and forward. Not great forward, but decent back. I'm not all too fussed about that. And as I say, she is generally pretty easy to stand as long as you know where the like weight points are. I mean, to be fair, that took very little effort and I did stand her first time, so overall pretty good. For accessories, she does come with 2 of these electric abilities. As far as I can tell, they are exactly the same. There might be some slight differences, but nothing too noticeable. They are a softer plastic, which I'm not a fan of. It kind of makes it difficult to use them. But how I understand it, you just kind of wrap them around the hand and the arm a little bit, and there we go. We've got a little bit of an electric effect. I'm not going to bother with the other one, but I think you've got the general idea. I'm not huge on these, and I'm going to be honest, I'm not going to be displaying them on her. I'm going to just throw them in a bin, probably. As in a storage bin, not a throwaway bin. But yeah, I like them enough. They work for the effect, and you know, if you're wanting an active power-using Storm, it definitely does work for that. For size comparisons, we have the Marvel Legends Venompool Wave Carnage, which is slightly taller. Quite like that. This is like, it's a modified Bucky Cat body sort of deal, so yeah, pretty standard body. Works for me. And then the Captain Marvel movie, Captain Marvel. Yeah, slightly shorter. I'm fine with that. The movie figures do tend to be a little bit underscaled compared to the comic characters. But honestly, I completely like this as just a general size difference. Then for a mixed display, we have the first edition Black Series Stormtrooper, Battle Damaged, and then also the War for Cybertron Siege Soundwave. And once again, I think sizes work pretty well. I say it every time I bring this on. A little bit short for a Stormtrooper. I wish it was a little bit taller. But overall, I think it works pretty well. And on that note, that is going to be it for this review. I really like this figure. I'm very excited to put it on the display. But in any case, that's going to be it for this review. So thanks for watching, like, subscribe, all that jazz, and I'll see you next time. Bye! And on that note, that is going to be it for this review. She just fell backwards. I've just been talking about how she's like really easy to stand, and then she does that. That's typical.